What is going on, guys? We actually got communication from the Chivalry 2 developers, so let's start with the small stuff first. Chivalry 2, it's going to be free up until December 11th, so meet, it's officially back on the menu, boys. Go easy on the noobs. And the most important thing is that private servers are going to be coming to Chivalry 2 in 2024, and this is probably the most requested community feature, and I am beyond excited to have a Stride as Angels server in the server browser for you guys to play on. Huge win for the community here, guys, so let's spend some time talking about it. Running events in Chivalry 2, whether they be casual or competitive, is difficult. Let me walk you guys through the process of setting up a clan battle or one of the big 32 versus 32 events that I run. Firstly, you can't just hop into the server browser and run these things because anyone can join. You have no reliable way of kicking randoms, and you can't force map changes. So you have to email ShivMail and request a server and a moderator. Now, the moderators, they're volunteers, and it is a thankless job. These guys are heroes. But you can't run an event unless one of the few active mods are available. They'll give you a server, but here's the thing. For many of these, the servers are open to the public. This means that the poor moderator needs to be provided a list of everyone playing in the match, all 64 people, and constantly scan the server to make sure no one sneaks in. Honestly, it's just an impossible task. We also have to navigate getting everyone to switch to the appropriate team in about 30 seconds that it takes for a match to begin, with 64 players randomly assigned. Needing to make it to a proper team, it can be very difficult, and often teams are not balanced and core members are stuck in spectate or on the wrong team for early portions of the map. It just makes things unfun. And these events are meant to be fun, but they're also just god-awful to run and navigate, and there's just so much hoop jumping that it can just be an exercise in frustration. And needing to jump through all these hoops, it makes it hard for community members to host things. If you're not an active known member of the community, good luck getting a server and a mod. I'm fortunate enough to have a direct line to some of the developers, and whenever I have trouble finding a mod or receiving support from ShivMail, I think the customary "we just don't want to listen to Strider crying on social media" message is sent out, and someone just steps up and does it. But this is not the norm for community members who have creative ideas and events that they'd like to host. I think we all remember the story of my good friend Emperor Bubbles not receiving a moderator from ShivMail. So he ran his event in an empty duel server, and then all the participants of the event were banned for commandeering a server, which is against the terms of service. It was just a completely ridiculous situation. And I know people want less negativity from me, but I had to start with talking about the current situation because this is a huge win for the community, because many of these problems, they can be solved by having private servers. So let me start with a more casual approach. I grew up in a time where a server browser and private servers were common. Most clans would have their own public lobby, which was like a meeting ground for not only a clan, but you'd get community regulars who would just always wind up playing on the same few servers. And many servers, they would have their custom rule sets or map rotations. I'm not a fan of every map in the game. Like, you guys all know I cry every time I have to play Breach of freaking Baldwin. So imagine how great it would be if I could eliminate all the maps that many of the core players dislike. No Bridgetown, no Montcrux, no Thaig Stronghold, and no Tenosia, and we can also get Team Deathmatch out of there too. Now, I can only hope and speculate this is possible, but imagine if we get even more power than that. Maybe I could run a first-person only, no Archer, 32 versus 32 server. Hell, allow me to even have horses in 64 and join the server at your own peril if you're on bad hardware. I mean, can you imagine if we get this level of control that we can tailor so many different servers to players' interests? It would be absolutely epic. And now for our serious players, what is a worse look for a game than running a cash prize competitive tournament and having a random crash it and RDM people so you have to keep restarting rounds or matches? Like, could you imagine being in a cash prize dueling tournament and getting RDM'd in the finals when you're in a groove? Well, problem eliminated, as the server owner can now have a password and the power to remove people if anyone somehow sneaks in anyway. For Team Objective, there's a function to pause or stop time that certain moderators can utilize. This would solve so many problems with Team Objective matches, as the clock could be paused or turned off until all the participants are on the correct teams. You could ask the captains, is your team ready? I mean, I'm sure my viewers don't want to watch me standing still for 30 minutes waiting for an event to start while the poor mod tries to navigate a list of 64 players and figure out who actually belongs in the server. Now, I know people are going to ask what I think this impacts for the game long term, and I think this is a move that it won't really bring in any new players, but I think it'll keep the core players who've been playing for years happy and provide them more opportunities to engage in fun content, and that'll keep them on the game and playing for years to come. I also hope this feature is highly successful, so if we ever get a Chivalry 3, it's a day one feature. Alright guys, that's it for me. Let me know what type of private server you're excited for, and let's give the devs some credit here. I know I hate on them a lot, but this is them satisfying players' requests, and they should be applauded for it. Champ out.